I am fully convinced that Tyler Perry is an energy harvester. And this is not up for debate at all. Argue with your mama. I am fully convinced that this man is an energy harvester. Let's talk about it. Now, I know some of y'all that are listening might be fans of Tyler Perry. My subscribers are not fans of Tyler Perry. However, because I'm speaking about a celebrity in this video, YouTube is going to recommend this video to a bunch of people that may be interested in Tyler Perry, and some of them are going to be his fans, and that's okay. And I know that some of y'all find his content or his movies or whatever you want to call it, some of y'all find it relatable. And therein lies a problem. So if you stick around long enough, hopefully I can convince you to stop consuming this type of content, especially if you want to heal from past trauma and create a life of peace, harmony, and abundance, and of course, prosperity. Now, I'm going to say some things that are controversial, but I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm not the only one, and you all already know this because people are talking about him. And I truly believe that this man is an energy harvester. And yes, you heard that right, because I said it in the beginning of the video, and I'm going to keep saying it in this video. This man is not just a filmmaker. He's not just a businessman. This man is a harvester of pain of the Black woman. And it's given that he has unresolved issues with his mother. However, again, if you stay with me, I'll show you exactly how this works on a spiritual, psychological, and metaphysical level. So grab your cup of tea or your snack or whatever and sit down and listen up. All right. And of course, watch until the end and then leave a comment. So what I've observed with Tyler Perry's work is a pattern of pain and suffering, okay? And I like to call this struggle porn. I'm probably not the first person that came up with this phrase or whatever you want to call it, but in a nutshell, that's basically what his work is all about, okay? It's all struggle porn. Black people, I realize, are addicted to struggle porn. They love struggle. They love watching movies and reading stories and hearing about struggle. Like they eat that shit up. You all are addicted to struggle and you're addicted to struggle porn. Because let's be real. If you've seen one Tyler Perry movie, you've seen them all. They literally follow the same formula. A Black woman goes through hell on earth. This woman will go through hell on earth. Poverty, abuse, betrayal, rape, financial ruin, even losing her children. Okay? The last Tyler Perry movie I saw 3 Tyler Perry movies. I saw Diary of a Mad Black Woman. That was the first one I saw. And then I think I saw Why Did I Get Married? And then the last one I saw was For Colored Girls. And after that one, I was done because when that man threw them children out that window, I was done. I was so mad. I damn near walked out of that cinema. Like I was saying, the same formula is followed in his movies. And in most of the movies, after this woman goes through hell on earth, goes through the worst thing possible that any human being can ever go through, a blue-collar man will show up on the horizon and he will sweep right in and magically save her. And usually, this man comes into her life before she even has time to process what she's been through and heal. Because I haven't seen any healing done in these videos at all. This is not love stories. What this is emotional and energetic exploitation. And it's dressed up as, redemption. Like, when she, at the end of the movie, when she settles with the blue collar guy. Yeah. So when you see this stuff, you have to understand that you are not watching empowerment. You are watching what I like to call struggle porn. And we need to ask ourselves, why is this so profitable? You got to remember that this man is allegedly a billionaire. And just take a look at the body of his work. Take a look at it. And then, the media is a tool for programming. This is why you have to be careful of what you consume, the type of content you consume, because at the end of the day, you are what you consume. If you keep consuming content that shows women that look like you in these awful situations, and you sit there and you cry, because a lot of y'all are coming out and saying that you cried watching the Straw movie. You got to remember that if you are crying in a movie, that's energetic extraction happening right there. That's the whole purpose of the movie. That is the purpose of that content. If you sit there and you cry and you feel strong emotions to the point where you cry, you feel some type of way, or maybe you even get angry, that is the whole purpose of the video. It basically did what it was supposed to do, what it's designed to do, extract energy. And who is sitting in the cinemas crying? Black women, Black people. Black people's emotional energy is profitable. Black people's emotional reaction is profitable. You all are so easy to trigger. It's not even funny. So, back to the media. When you consume this type of content over and over, what do you think is happening? You have to understand that you are not just watching this content. What you do, you embed that content. It's imprinted in your subconscious. And it also imprints on the subconscious of the collective. And by collective, I'm talking about the Black community and the diaspora, right? Because these are the people that support Tyler Perry. These are the people that go watch his movies. But I think this movie was on Netflix. I don't think this was in the cinemas. I went online, I did some research to find out what the movie was about, and I got a great synopsis of the movie. So there might be spoilers for those of you that really want to go see this movie. If you don't give a shit, listen to the spoilers. So you got to remember that when you're consuming this type of stuff, especially when you consuming this type of content over and over, the struggle porn, Black women in these dire situations, getting evicted. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I noticed the spiritual pattern, and basically, all the characters in these movies are stuck or trapped in their lower chakras. Okay, they are trapped in their root and sacral chakra. I talked about this before in my videos, okay? In previous videos. But more on that in a minute. So when you go and you sit there and you watch all of this stuff and it's imprinted in your subconscious, this is basically ritual storytelling that you're participating in. Because let's be real, it's the same characters, the same wounds, and the same resolutions. And these rituals are telling us that you will suffer. No one will help you until you are completely broken. Healing doesn't come from within, it comes from a man. What do you think this is? This is spiritual programming. And for Black women, it's especially dangerous. I want to talk about the concept of louche farming and energy harvesting a little bit more. In Gnostic texts, there are characters like the demiurge, and they basically say that these entities have trapped humans into their lower chakras so that they can feed on their emotional reactions and basically energy, right? Okay, the emotional reactions, the low vibrational emotional reactions like hopelessness, sadness, depression, anger, they feed on that type of emotions. And they call that louche, all right? It's louche farming. That's basically what it is. So there will always be these situations that will come up in the media that is specifically targeted towards Black people. And the only purpose is to get a reaction out of Black people. The last thing I saw recently, aside from this Tyler Perry movie, was that statue in Times Square of that Black lady, the average Black lady. A lot of people were triggered about that. A lot of people triggered to the point where there were a lot of discussions, think pieces. People are still mad about that statue. They know exactly what they're doing. When a celebrity or influencer does blackface, they know exactly the reaction they're looking for. Even if they're not doing it on purpose, but the entities that are controlling these people knows exactly what type of energy they're looking for. And a lot of people out here are vessels for these entities. Trust and believe what I'm saying. So let's talk metaphysics. Again, in the spiritual community, there's the concept of louche. And all that it is emotional energy produced by intense suffering, grief, fear, and trauma. Because the louche or the energy that they get from people that are dealing with fear, constant fear, living in fear, people that are experiencing a lot of trauma, people that are suffering and grief, that louche energy is so rich. It's like the tastiest energy there is. So these entities, whether they are spiritual or institutional, they feed on louche. It's kind of like Monsters, Inc. If you haven't seen that movie, you should go watch it. But they have to tell you everything that they do in the movies. They have to tell you the truth. But then they will tell you the truth and at the same time turn around and gaslight you. Because the way that movie ended, Monsters Inc., instead of feeding on the children's fear, they started feeding on the children's laughter. They are not interested in feeding on anyone's joy or laughter. These entities, they are only here to feed off of your fear, your grief, your struggle, your pain, your trauma. It's that simple. For example, I'm going to give you an example of an institution. Racism in the United States is an institution, and they will see to it to uphold racism in order to get loose from the Black folks. Racism is an institution, just so you know. So, if Black women remain locked into these cycles of emotional pain, always identifying with trauma, always relating to being broken, then they become involuntary energetic generators. You become an involuntary energetic generator. If you find that this type of content that Tyler Perry puts out is relatable and you identify with his content, you are an energy generator. You are generating that energy. The fact that you sat there and cried, you are generating that energy. And these people are getting rich off of that energy. Your trauma is profitable. Your pain and suffering is profitable. Even if you're not experiencing pain and suffering, even if you sit there in the movie theaters and you watch the video and you cry and you relate, you find it relatable, that's still energy. This isn't accidental. It's very much strategic. So if you keep the womb of civilization, which is Black women, in survival mode, what you do, you cut her off from her intuition, you cut her off from her power, and you cut her off from her creativity and her birthright. Do you think that you can be creative and intuitive when you're in survival mode? You can't. You cannot be. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are speaking up against Tyler Perry, because people who are spiritually advanced, we know exactly what's happening, which is why we speak out against it. What we're trying to do, we're trying to raise awareness. We're trying to save some of y'all. A man becomes what he think it, okay? As a man think it, so he is. I don't know. I think that's the saying. You basically become what you think about most. And if you're consuming this type of content and you relate to it, it means that it's basically part of your default programming. It's basically part of your DNA. So you are always going to be attracting this type of stuff. You will never be able to advance spiritually. You will never be able to manifest the life that you want. You will always be in survival mode. You will always be struggling. This is the reason why we are telling you all, stop watching this content. It is not uplifting. It is not empowering. There's nothing empowering about a Black woman struggling and going through hell. But I did not watch that Straw movie. But I looked into the ending because I was trying to see if she was saved by a blue collar guy. But you know what? Surprise, surprise, the entire plot follows the same formula: struggle, trauma, etc. And you know, the main character played by Taraji P. Henson is basically about a mother that suffers tragedy after tragedy. Oh, by the way, for those of you that want to watch a movie, you might want to skip this bit, okay? Skip a minute ahead because this is where the spoilers are going to come. This woman suffers tragedy after tragedy, only to discover her child had already been dead and she's been hallucinating. After some sort of hostage standoff and a near-death breakdown, she's saved again by outside forces because these women are never going to save themselves in a Tyler Perry movie. These women will never go within and do the shadow work in a Tyler Perry movie. These women will never heal from their trauma in a Tyler Perry movie. There's no healing. There's no internal restoration. It's just trauma breakdown and external rescue. Sounds familiar? Yeah. That's basically the plot of most of Tyler Perry movies. And the one that is not about struggle, I mean, come on, Medea. Medea, really? Give me a break. How long is this man going to keep putting on this damn dress and pretending to be this woman? By the way, what he's doing is ritualistic. When a man puts on a dress and a wig and he starts impersonating a woman, what he's doing, he's tapping into the divine feminine energy so that he can create. Most of the men that do this in Hollywood, their careers tend to do very well. It's just a pattern that I've observed. And since we know that he's a gay man, he is not extracting that energy through sex magic like Diddy and them, but he's doing it by extracting energy from y'all and putting on that dress and that wig and that makeup and emulating a woman. And I really believe that all of this is being done on purpose. Like, there's no argument there. It's being done on purpose. Okay, because the question is it really intentional? That's a question you should ask yourself. And my answer is yes. And whether or not Tyler Perry is aware of how his content functions on an energetic level, on an energetic level, it doesn't change the fact that it's being used as a tool for emotional suppression and spiritual extraction. The trauma is real. The ritual is real. When you sit there and you consume that content and you feel some strong emotion and you start crying, all of it is part of the ritual. The energy harvesting is real. This is how parasitic systems survive. They need us, they need you to suffer. They need us to watch ourselves suffering. That's the real agenda. You gotta ask yourself why. And again, I'm an outsider and I'm asking this question, okay? I'm asking this question. Why in the United States, a group of people that were oppressed for hundreds of years are finally free, okay, technically, but yet still, these people are still being exploited so that other people can become wealthy. Ask yourself that. Why? Every time they want to extract energy, the first place they go to, especially when they know they want to get that good, raw, delicious louche, it's always Black people, especially Black women. Why? Why are they doing this? Ask that question and sit with that question. It's a parasitic system. And by energy extraction and energy harvesting, what I mean is that they are taking something from you and you're getting nothing in return. So it is indeed extremely parasitic. This is why Tyler Perry can become a billionaire off of those awful movies. So what can we do? What can we do, ladies? We have to stop watching. We have to stop supporting. I do not participate in timelines that I'm not trying to manifest. I'm not trying to manifest in my life a life of struggle. So I'm not going to go and watch a Tyler Perry movie. I rather drag my bare coochie on the road than sit through a Tyler Perry movie. Dead ass. So you got to stop supporting. Most importantly, ladies, you have to stop identifying with pain as our only entry point to visibility. Think about it. Think about what I just said, okay? When a Black woman is visible in the media, she's either suffering or she's just mean and angry. I don't know, or over sexualized. So pain and suffering should not be the entry point for visibility. It should not be. This is not Latino people's problem. This is not Asian people problem. Okay. And these are other people of color. Why is it just us? And the reason why I'm saying us is because I'm a Black woman too. And just because I don't live in the United States, you have to remember that American media is international. Yes, we have our own media or whatnot, but it's nowhere as big and impactful and influential as American media. No way. Doesn't even come close. And of course, we've all heard this before, we need to start creating stories where we win without first being destroyed. For years, I've been seeing women come on here and telling Black women to create your own media. Shonda Rhimes depicts Black women in a good light, generally. Okay, Black women look and appear normal like every other character in a Shonda Rhimes production, based on what I've seen. Okay, I haven't watched much of Shonda Rhimes' work. I think I watched Scandal, but I didn't watch that popular show on Netflix. The period piece, what is it called? Bridgerton? Yes. I haven't watched Bridgerton. I haven't watched it. So yeah. But I think based on some clips I've seen, they have a queen that is a Black woman. So she does depict Black women in a more positive light than Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry movies remind me of that awful movie I saw some years ago. I think it was 2010. That movie Precious. Yeah. And let me tell you something. I remember I was talking to this Asian woman online. We were friends or whatnot. So back in the day, we had like our little internet friends or whatnot. And she was like, "Oh my God, have you seen Precious? Oh my God, that movie is so good. Like I literally cried." I was like, "Oh, really?" And I know it, I know damn well that I don't like to cry. I don't like to cry. Like I don't like when these entities extract energy from me like that. Okay. But I was like, okay, I'll watch it. Y'all, I watched that and I was disgusted. I started side-eyeing that Asian lady and I stopped talking to her because why would you recommend that movie to me? Nothing about that movie is relatable. at all. People either want to watch relatable content or aspirational content. The people that want to watch struggle porn, they have a struggle porn kink. These people need help. These people are unhealed. These are wounded individuals. All right? So we have to create our own stories. And a lot of Black women do try to create their own stories and portray Black women in a good light. And you know what you all do? You all are the biggest haters. If you see a Black woman on the internet that is not struggling and that probably grew up from privilege, you all attack them. You all are jealous. You all don't like that because, oh, that's not relatable. And the only reason why it's not relatable is because you identify with struggle. If you want to get past struggle and heal from that struggle and become privileged, you have to start identifying with privilege. You have to start identifying with the opposite. You have to understand that our consciousness is what rules this world, not the external. It all begins within. It has always been an inside job. It's an inside job, ladies. And again, this isn't about being too sensitive, like, oh, I don't want to watch that. It's not about that, okay? It's about being spiritually sovereign. We do not need to relive our wounds to be seen. We do not need to bleed on screen to be powerful. And every time a Black woman is getting any kind of clout on social media or in in legacy media, it's always coded in struggle. And I'm going to give you two real life examples, right? Lupita Nyong'o broke out role, 12 years a slave, okay? All right. Then we have Risa Tisa on TikTok. That woman made a 50-part video talking about her struggle, her pain and her suffering, and she blew up, got millions of views. We gotta ask ourselves why. Why is that the only time Black women are visible? Black women are seen. Why is it when we are suffering? That's crazy. We do not need to be struggling and suffering to be on screen or to be powerful because we have to step out of that frequency. And when we finally step out of that struggle frequency, they have nothing left to feed on. They're going to find someone else to feed on, not us. But for now, we keep feeding this machine and there is nothing I can do about it. Okay. The only thing I can do is bring awareness and hopefully I can, I don't know, perhaps reach someone, save someone from going and watching that video. Before I close, I want to talk about this pathology that Black people have with trauma and suffering and struggle. The reason for this is because a lot of Black people find safety in what is familiar. And for a lot of these people, especially the people that say, oh, it's relatable because I've been through a lot of stuff too, and some of that stuff I've been through it or whatnot. The reason for that is because it's familiar and it feels safe to them, even when it hurts. All right. You have to understand that the nervous system is wired to recognize familiarity as a safety net or whatever you want to call it, not joy. So if someone grows up in chaos, they grow up in betrayal, pain, poverty, scarcity, these experiences feels normal to them on a somatic level. They don't like it, but they are used to it. Okay. There are people that will never be homeless in their life and will never come close to being homeless in their life. There are people that were never evicted in their lives and will never come close because they don't vibrate on that frequency. So these people, they watch Tyler Perry's content and they don't feel good watching it because they are crying. Some people are getting angry, but it feels like home to them. To me, this is a whole, not only is this an energy extraction ritual, but it's a whole trauma bonding ritual as well, with the media. And the movies to these people is a mirror. Okay, so I'm trying to help you all understand why these people support Tyler Perry, why they think that, what he's doing is not wrong. All right, and this is why. Okay, because his movie is a mirror of unprocessed trauma. They haven't processed that trauma, they haven't healed from that trauma, because if they have, they would not be supporting this type of content. Okay, because people do subconsciously seek reflections of their pain to validate their suffering. So they're going to be like, see, I'm not crazy. This happens to others. This happens to a lot of people. They might believe that happens to a lot of people, but no, that's their reality. But they feel less alone when they see this content and they try to emotionally resolve what they have never heard, what they've never healed. But that's a mistake, okay? But that's not going to help them. What they're doing, they are mistaking this reenactment that they see on their screen for resolution. They're just watching someone else live out the same wound that they probably lived out, but the cycle, it never completes. And that's not true healing. That's just more pain. And it's a trap. These entities and these media programs that people are consuming are designed to keep you trapped in your lower chakras. All right. A lot of these people are addicted to the pain and struggle. That's why I call it struggle porn, because porn is addictive, right? A lot of people are addicted to the chemistry of suffering and they don't even know it, especially cortisol, adrenaline, and emotional intensity. Because, the struggle based media, it keeps the loop going. They feel alive even if they're miserable, right? And this is why a lot of these people would prefer to watch Tyler Perry's drama over any films that show functional heal or peaceful Black lives. They don't want to watch that. People love drama and dysfunction. Okay, because they can't feel those, they can't relate to peace, they can't relate to harmony, they cannot relate to prosperity. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine not being able to relate to peace, harmony, and prosperity and healing? That's crazy, right? Okay, and just to touch on the root chakra, the chakras again, the root chakra is our base chakra, and this chakra is associated with survival, safety, food, housing, your tribe. And when people are stuck here, they live in fear. Oh, I'm about to get evicted. I ain't got no money. I'm struggling. My kids are hungry. That's someone who is trapped in their root chakra. These people tend to obsess over betrayal, abandonment, and money. And they have no access to higher guidance, meaning that they have no intuition, they have no creativity, and they have no joy. And this is the reason why struggle becomes relatable, because they are energetically anchored in the lowest frequency, which is survival. Tyler Perry films are root chakra rituals. Tyler Perry films are giving off the energy of the Five of Pentacles in tarot. And they're going to keep you tethered to fear, okay? And if you're a woman, you're going to fear men, you're going to fear financial collapse, you're going to always have this threat of violence, and of course, constant emotional volatility. I mean, that's basically Taraji P's role. And Taraji P is really good at these damn struggle movies, I guess, because I don't know what it is, but I saw that movie Baby Boy, and that movie was intense, yo. Like, I'm not a fan of black movies. Too much struggle. It's just too much. I barely watch movies nowadays, anyways. But that movie was something else, Baby Boy. That movie was something else, y'all. And I just don't understand why people keep coming back to these films. Like I said earlier, if you see one of his films, you've seen them all. But people keep coming back and watching the same movie with different characters over and over. Like, I don't get it. Like, I feel like they're chasing a different outcome. Maybe they're thinking, maybe this time she'll win, or maybe this time it'll be different, and maybe this time she'll have a happily ever after. Like, girl, I don't know. But, my final takeaway, and I'm just going to end this video here, is that we have to be mindful of the content or the media that we consume. You are what you consume. We think we're watching realistic stories, but what we're really doing is watching our unhealed trauma reenacted again and again until it becomes our identity. I'm sorry, but that's not representation. That's trauma dressed up as culture. I don't know what else to call it. If pain feels relatable, we do not need more Tyler Perry movies. We need more healing. That's basically what we need. And, I'm going to end with that. Let me know what you think in the comments. And thanks for listening.